Welcome to Numbers Simplified. In this channel, we seek to simplify and solve numerical problems. Today, we'll be looking at the quadratic equations using the factorization method. Now, we are going to look at the quadratic equation. So, the quadratic equation is a function of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0, where a is not equal to 0. B and c are elements of real numbers. A is said to be the coefficient of x squared. B is the coefficient of x, whereas c is the constant term. Recall from the quadratic factorization video, the session is about solving the quadratic equations by factorization method. So I encourage you guys to check out the quadratic factorization video we uploaded in the past. We continue from that video. Now let's look at the implementation of the factorization method. So consider the equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. We label this equation star. So the first thing that we need to do is to compute the product AC. That is the multiplication of A times C. 2. We find the factors of the product AC that sum up to B. That is the value we get from B. Thirdly, we substitute the factors for B in equation star. Number 4, we factorize the first and the last two terms. And 5, we separate and equate the factors to 0 and then solve for x. Let's look at example 1. Solve by factorization x squared minus 6x minus 16 is equals to 0. The solution. Let's consider the left-hand side of the question. A is equals to 1, B is equals to minus 6, and C is equals to minus 16. Those are the coefficients of x squared, x, and the constant term, respectively. So, the first step. The product AC is given by 1 times minus 16, giving us a minus 16. And the second thing, the factors of the product AC, which is minus 16, that sum up to B, which is a minus 6. We work out these factors, we get minus 8 and positive 2 being the two factors. Multiplying them give us a minus 16, adding them up gives us a minus 6. So with those factors, we substitute in place of B. That is, we are going to have x squared minus 8x plus 2x minus 16 is equals to 0. Take note, our b was minus 6, but we substitute minus 8 plus 2 for b. Now with that, we factorize the first and the last two terms. In that case, we get the common factor between x squared and 8 minus 8x to be precise. Then we get x times x minus 8, and in the last two terms we've got 2x minus 16. The common factor there is a 2, so we factor out the positive 2 times x minus 8 is equals to 0. Now that we have reached that stage, we can see that we have also common factors x and a plus 2, so that we have x plus 2 times x minus 8 is equals to 0. From here, we move on to separate these two factors, x plus 2 and x minus 8, and equate them to 0, because it means that one of them is 0 or the other is 0. So with that, then we have x plus 2 is equals to 0 or x minus 8 is equals to 0. And our final answer gets to x is equals to minus 2 or x is equals to 8. Example 2. Solve by the factorization. 20 minus 7x is equals to 6x squared. The solution. Rearranging the quadratic equation, we get minus 6x squared minus 7x plus 20 is equals to 0. So looking at the coefficients of x squared, x, and the constant term, we get a is equal to minus 6, b is equal to minus 7, c is equals to 20. Now, the product AC is given by 6 times minus 20, we get minus 120. The factors of product AC minus 20 that sum up to minus 7 are minus 15 and 8. So substituting these factors in place of b, we are going to get minus 6x squared minus 15x plus 8x plus 20 is equals to 0. With that then, we factor out the common factor between the first two terms and the last two terms. In the first two terms, we have a minus 3, so that we have 2x plus 5 inside the brackets or parentheses, plus factoring the common factor between minus 15x plus, rather 8x plus 20, we are going to get a plus 4, which is a common factor, and inside the parentheses or brackets, we have 2x plus 5 is equals to 0. Now, factoring further, we are going to have a minus 3x plus 4 times 2x plus 5 is equals to 0. With that, we separate the two factors so that we have minus 3x plus 4 is equals to 0, or 2x plus 5 is equals to 0. Solving for x, we get x is equal to 1 and a third, or x is equal to minus 2 and a half. Let's look at example 3. So we are going to solve by factorization. 2x squared plus 9x minus 5 divided by x to the power 4 plus 1 is equals to 0. The solution then. We need to clear the fraction by multiplying both sides by the denominator. So the denominator is x to the power 4 plus 1. We multiply that, both sides, so that we get that. And with that, we are going to have the denominator cancelling out with the product. That is on the left-hand side, whereas on the right-hand side, that all goes to 0. So that we have 2x squared plus 9x minus 5 is equals to 0 as the final thing we have. Now, from there, we are going to get the coefficients of x squared is 2, which is a, the coefficient of x, b, equal to 9, and the constant term c being equal to minus 5. Now, the product of that AC, we get 2 times minus 5, which is minus 10, and the factors of AC, which is minus 10, summing up to b of 9. The factors are 10 and minus 1. So, in place of the b, we put the new factors so that we have 2x squared plus 10x minus x minus 5 is equal to 0. Now, we consider the first two terms. The common factor between the first two terms is 2x, so that we factor out 2x and have x plus 5 in the parentheses, minus x plus 5, because that is what is common in the last two terms, a negative 1, if you would like, is equals to 0. Now with that, we simplify our work further so that we get 2x minus 1 times x plus 5 is equals to 0. Now we separate these factors so that we get 2x minus 1 is equals to 0, or x plus 5 is equals to 0. Solving for x, we get x is equal to a half, or x is equals to minus 5. Looking at example 4. We are trying to solve by factorization. 3 over x plus 2 plus 1 over x minus 1 is equals to 1 over x plus 1 times x plus 2. The solution. As you would know, if we have fractions, it is advisable to clear the fractions first. So we start by clearing the fractions by multiplying both sides by the common denominator of the fractions, 3 of them. So the common denominator here is x plus 1 times x plus 2 times x minus 1. So multiplying throughout all the 3 terms, we get to that. And when we get to that, we see that the x plus 2 cancels out with the x plus 2 in the denominator for the first term. Now we move on to the second term. The x minus 1 cancels out with the denominator in the second term. We get to the third term. we have the x minus 1 cancelling out with the x plus 1 cancelling out with the x plus 1 in the denominator, and the x plus 2 cancelling out with the x plus 2 in the denominator. With that, we get 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 1 plus x plus 1 times x plus 2 is equal to x minus 1. Expanding the brackets or the parentheses, we are going to get to a stage where we have that, and expanding further, we are going to get 3x squared minus 3 plus x squared plus 3x plus 2 is equal to x minus 1. And of course, we preserve the steps. So grouping the like terms, we are going to have that is what we had in the previous page. So grouping the like terms, we would have 4x squared plus 2x is equals to 0. Meaning that when we factor out the common factor between the two terms, now in this case, our c is equal to 0. So we don't have a constant term. So we can just simplify this by factoring out the common factor between the two terms, so that we have x times 4x plus 2 is equals to 0. So this means that x is equal to 0, or 4x plus 2 is equal to 0, implying that x is equal to 0, or x is equal to minus 1 over 2. Let's take a look at the last example. Find the solution for 2 to the x squared minus 4x plus 6 is equals to 8. The solution. Recall from the laws of indices that 2 to the power x squared minus 4x plus 6 is equals to 2 to the power 3. Since the base is the same, in this case 2, it means that the powers are also equal. For instance, if we have a to the x being equal to a to the y, that implies that x is equals to y. Then x squared minus 4x plus 6 is equals to 3. We're taking the powers or the indices. With that then, solving for x, but grouping the like terms first, we move the 3 to the other side so that we have x squared minus 4x plus 3 is equals to 0. That means that our a is 1, our b is minus 4, and our c is equals to 3. Now, moving on, we are going to find the product with AC, which is 1 times 3, which is equal to 3. The factors summing up to b of minus 4 are minus 1 and minus 3. Substituting for b with these factors, we are going to have x squared minus x minus 3x plus 3 is equals to 0. Now, factoring out the common term in the first two terms and the last two terms, we are going to get x times x minus 1 minus 3 times x minus 1 is equal to 0. Then simplify further, we are going to get x minus 3 times x minus 1 is equal to 0. We equate each of these factors to 0 so that we have x minus 3 being equal to 0 or x minus 1 being equal to 0. We solve for x. So x becomes 3 or x becomes 1. If you've made it thus far into the video, I say congratulations to you. I leave you with the following task. Solve x squared minus 11x plus 29 all raised to the power 6x squared plus x minus 2 being equal to 1. Recall, your experience, your contribution, and also your questions and suggestions are always welcome here. So, subscribe, like, and share so that you don't miss out on any of our future uploads. And write down in the comment section how you solved the problem or any problems that you might have faced solving the task. Thank you once again for watching Numbers Simplified. God loves you.